Good evening, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing another video to you on a subject that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know, and I want to talk briefly about the scientific method. In particular, about peer review and how it can take two forms, really. Well, first of all, the scientific method is not as complicated as most people think or are told in school. There's some rigorous steps to it, of course, some experimentation, hypotheses, peer review, and publishing your data and results, but there's two ways to do peer review, and I want to emphasize this part of the scientific method and show people that it's accessible regardless of what authority insists that you have to go through them. This is the problem. The problem is that many scientific papers and news outlets, research reports that you find online are filtered through a centralized authority that claims they're verifying the data for accuracy and scientific integrity by the scientific process, which, as I mentioned, involves peer review as part of its definition. So, unfortunately, this isn't entirely true, because the real reason that they want to do this, they being the information authorities, the scientific journals and whatnot, is so that they can align the research and be aware of all the research, hopefully, with their goals, right? Their goals and their policies and their agendas, their beliefs, and the beliefs ultimately of our leadership, whoever that is. So I'm not claiming to know too much about that part of it, but I do know that there is a strong push towards centralizing the peer review process, which is contrary and not actually part of the scientific method. It's not necessarily part of it. It can be, but you can do science by yourself independently and achieve just as accurate results if your process is rigorous and honest. If it's honest and your measurements are scientific and accurate and you're taking all the right steps, it doesn't matter who reviews your paper or your findings. This is the point of my video here. It doesn't matter who reviews it. Not in terms of science, the literal definition. You can do whatever science you want independently or as an organization, as a school or research facility, and have peers review it who are not necessarily part of some organized, centralized authority. So I want to make this clear because I've heard some scary stuff to the contrary that boils down to censorship, obtaining access and control of science itself, and just aligning everything with some pre-written set of beliefs and rules and policies, right? So to avoid that, and I think it's super important, it's the purpose of science. Last thing I'll say about it. The purpose of science is to discover truth, to discover what is true and what isn't, and to arrive at conclusions in the form of data that you present in your findings as a scientist, whether it's information technology, whether it's physics or chemistry or astronomy, it makes no difference. All of these follow the same steps and the same process. And you, as an independent person or as an individual, have complete access to the full scientific method, and you can do this on your own or with friends or with, like I said, a business or an organization, and you don't necessarily need to subscribe to the scientific journals, their peers, a government peer system. And I think it's super important that people remember that. So that's all the purpose here is, to remind people of that fact. Reach out if you like with questions or comments to whitehotrobot@gmail.com. Thank you.